You should have cut his damn head off. But he didn't do that. He kept him.
Lloyd always thought that it could have made him, a lot of money, and it really never did. Mike had a problem. Sometimes he would start choking or strangling on its own mucus, and they kept a little eyedropper always handy to suck that out so he wouldn't strangle to death. If I remember how the story goes right, one night they had forgot this eyedropper at the sideshow and had him back at the motel room, and he started gurgling and strangling, and before they could find anything to keep him from strangling, he choked to death. Their dreams were kind of crushed. They made just enough to buy him a new farm tractor and to finish paying off a little bit of land that he still owed some money on. I really don't know what to think of why Mike lived. Was it just fate? Did this one particular rooster have just that much will to live? Or was it just because he was so dumb of an animal that he didn't even know his head was cut off? I think it's one of those mysteries of life of really why it happened.
In order to eat a chicken, you have to kill a chicken. There's just no easy way around that. I try to do it as easily on them as possible. I try to respect them all the way through the process to the table. All farmers take this as a matter of course. I guess I feel a bit odd about speaking about killing because I know many people have no experience of this at all. It's very difficult for them to see it as not being cruel, but I don't see it as being cruel. I see it as necessary. Somebody's doing it. If you eat meat, somebody is harvesting that creature for you.
Well, let's have a toast to our chicken tonight, okay? Here we go. To our beautiful chicken feeding us tonight. There we go.
There's a sense of wholeness about growing your own food, and the chickens remind me every day that it's not just me in this world. It helps me stay attuned to those things that are important to me, like cycles of life and death, of happiness and sadness, just everything that makes a life rich. So it keeps me connected to things outside of myself.
It's strange how we pick up certain expressions. From the time I was a little kid, one of the worst forms of derision was to be called chicken. The quickest way to get a fight started was to use this name against a target of ridicule. The implication was always that a chicken was a coward or lacking in courage. Many people have never really known a chicken. I mean the feathered bird commonly found on farms. I've been fortunate to be around chickens much of my life, and have formed a close bond with several. One of the more memorable was Liza. Liza was a Japanese silky bantam. She was about half the size of the average barnyard hen, but big in her love for life, as well as her unfailing determination. Her feathers were snow white, fluffy, almost fur-like, A patch of feathers perched atop her head like a comical crown. Her dark eyes sparkled with life, and as I later realized, a great depth of chicken wisdom. One aspect of life, however, seemed to elude Liza: motherhood. She laid eggs regularly, tiny bantam eggs not much larger than marbles. But her diminutive size put her at a great disadvantage with the other chickens, and the larger hens always crowded her out of the nest before the required 21-day incubation period. As the new mothers would introduce their brood to the real world, Liza would attempt to take over the duties of mother. As a result, she took a great deal of abuse from the other chickens. I felt a compassion for Liza, sensing how desperately she wanted to experience motherhood. I attempted to help her by making a nest away from the others. Liza readily accepted it and began laying eggs. However, I soon discovered the eggs broken and contents eaten. Liza began exhibiting signs of great distress. She erratically checked empty nests, clucked in a strange, monotonous way. Realizing that something had to be done, I constructed a miniature chicken house, complete with all the amenities: food, water, and a private nest that would be the envy of any chicken's eye. Liza settled into her new home and immediately began depositing eggs in the nest at the rate of 1 a day until she had 6. She then went into the setting mode, plucking feathers from her breast to line the nest and expose her warm, moist skin to the eggs. Finally, the eggs began to hatch. The baby chicks were unbelievably small. It was difficult to count them, for they seemed to disappear almost immediately into the fluffy feathers beneath Liza's wings and breast. And never was a mother more devoted, more thrilled, or more suited to the task at hand. Liza was fairly glowing with the pride and joy of motherhood. I kept the little family in their confined space for a few days, reluctant to allow them out into the real world filled with so much danger. Liza pleaded with every motion of her body to take her new family out into the world. She paced back and forth at the door until I gave in and opened their lives to a world filled with green grass, the warm, moist earth, and more juicy bugs than most of us care to know about. True to my expectations, Liza was the ideal mother. She showed her little family the very best places to search for seeds and grain. From sunup to sundown, she was tireless in searching out the very best for her brood. I felt quite good about the perfection of it all, the absolute order in God's universe, the demonstration of life as it should be. It was during one of these moments of reflection that I was shocked into a broader understanding of our true relationship with God's creatures. As I stood one morning looking out over the field beyond our kitchen window and absently watching the scattered groups of chickens going about their routine, I saw the entire community of chickens free